And hello all newcomers, and welcome back my fellow Aeternians. As always, it's me, Empire AP. Today we are going to be talking about development of micronations in general, and in particular what we as Aeternians are trying to do to further our development this year. Of course, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and our three biggest goals for the year are going to be broken down in this video and discussed kind of in a general sense, and then more specifically into, what prompted these goals, how we're getting into them, and ultimately what it means for our continued plans, for a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, on and on and on. So as we continue today, I hope you all will join us in thinking about kind of what it is that if you're on a micronation or a part of one, what it is that you all are facing right now, what the challenges that you deal with are, and what you're planning to do about it in the future. And if you have any questions, definitely jump in so we can discuss them together. One of the hardest things about developing a micronation and trying to run any sort of organization is being able to outline the problems and successfully create strategies to solve them. A lot of the time you can think about a way to solve a problem, but actually having a practical, sound plan for doing that, and knowing that that is something that's achievable for you and that has steps that are achievable for you is an entirely different matter. So the biggest thing that I want to talk about that this entire video is going to center around is going to be our development out at Vitae. If you guys don't know, Vitae is Aeternia's capital territory. It is our very first piece of property that we own, and we are trying to develop it right now from absolutely nothing. From a bare, I say a bare piece of ground. It's an uncleared, undeveloped forest, effectively. A little 3-acre property, excuse me, that we are slowly trying to develop. And if you've watched our past live streams, you'll see that now we have a garden out there that is slow growing but developing, and we have the basics of our first dwelling. That's going to be developed first into kind of a shed, and then is going to be continued to be outfitted and improved, eventually to be able to house people, to be able to have restroom facilities, to be able to have electricity, and all those sorts of things. So it's a long process of trying to build something that you can eventually live in. It's kind of annoying to be able to go from, bare nothing and slowly build up enough resources to kind of make like a tiny home. But that is our biggest crucial goal as of this year, is to develop that dwelling, and in general to develop Vitae, because once we can develop our capital territory enough to live there, one, it checks off certain things that we want to be able to do as far as proving the value and all the the opportunity that we have out there. So being able to host guests, being able to have parties and stuff like that will be fun to show off what we've been doing this whole time. But on top of that, that's going to allow us, most importantly, to be able to live out there. It makes it a shorter commute for us. It makes it easier for us to develop more quickly. There's a whole host of benefits. So that first big goal for us for the year, as we approach a month until our founding day, until what marks let me see, the officially 8 years that we have been developed, trying to get to that goal by that time is going to be large. And so we aren't going to be able to completely finish the dwelling in that point, but we should be able to get the rest of the framing built and to have the roof on it by that point. So that'll be exciting, and that's, again, ultimately what we're pushing for. The other two big goals that we have are, of course, trying to improve our technological capabilities. We have a number of things that we're doing with that, as far as we have a new welder that we've gotten. Of course, we have the arc furnace. We have an arc furnace that we've been working with, but we also have a propane run furnace to melt metals. So being able to work with metals both in the casting sense, being able to refine down and cast metals like we've done with aluminum and copper in the past, and then also going into actually welding metals now, being able to make larger structures with them, things like that, are two sides of a coin that we very much need. So that's the second plan. That sort of goes in line with developing an economy and trying to push forward into our usefulness. Not only do we have this place in Vitae to start developing and to start building our nest egg, our investment there, the seat of our empire, we're also then going out and trying to push now for an economy, something that not only can we share with you all and say, hey, come and support us if you like what we do, you can purchase these things online. We're going above and beyond that and saying, hey, we want to reach out to our local community and say, now we have the resources to be able to provide more broad-reaching benefits. We now have the ability to start businesses that are going to be more practical on an everyday life scale. People need things welded. People need custom-made metal things, whether that's for knick-knack purposes, whether that's for some project that they're working on, whether that's, to have, a family heirloom made, something like that. Even for micronations, we will have lots of opportunities as far as the building and development of that technology as we go. Again, just getting better and better into the field of refining and working with metals is going to be crucial for us. So that's, again, kind of one of the big driving points that we've made. And this year, our biggest accomplishment with that has ultimately been in getting this welder that we've been working on. So we have that. We have the exciting parts about that. I will say, as far as welding goes, oh goodness, I am still learning. Here are all my welding cables and stuff. I have my stinger and my ground. I have been learning to stick weld slowly but surely. And have been making a little bit of progress. So hopefully there will be some updates for you guys soon on that. But that's number 2. That's our second biggest one. And then the third one is community outreach. We have been trying to develop Aeternia from the ground up. We have been building the community online with you guys helping out and being amazing and showing us support that way. But we've also been trying to develop it here locally. And so a lot of our efforts have gone into the development of Vitae, building our capital, making our empire a physical seat to be able to show people, to be able to say, hey, if you want to know what we're all about, you can come and visit our capital. People stay there, people live there, people work there. That's ultimately the goal that we want to get to. And so for now, developing Vitae has been big. Again, getting that those technologies underway with being able to work with metals better, both in casting them, melting them, and as well welding them, is now a big thing that will allow us significant advantages in developing Vitae directly. Those two play together. And then all of that culminates into this third goal, community outreach. Once we have the resources to be able to take care of people, to be able to start working economically, to be able to provide value economically, and as well to be able to start making all the other necessities for people to be able to stay out at Vitae for any length of time, for a day, a week, a month, and so on and so forth. As we keep pushing for that, we want to show off. We want to flex a little bit and say, hey guys, this is what we're up to. If you're interested, come out and check out Vitae. So we want to start having parties there. We want to start hosting events. We want to start being able to go out into our local community away from Vitae and saying, hey, have you heard of the Empire of Aeternia? If not, have you heard of micronations? If not, this is kind of what we do. This is why we do it. Do you have any interest in that? Trying to look for people who have specific skill sets, people who can assist us, maybe people who have welding experience, maybe people who have recruitment experience, people who are salespeople, business people, people who are just interested in politics, people who are interested in their local politics, people who know what the issues are. All of those people are going to be absolutely crucial for us to connect to because, one, they're the heart of the community. They are the people we're trying to reach out to and provide benefit to in the first place. But secondly, it's going to teach us a lot. Being able to encounter those people, being able to face their questions and their challenges, and show them that we are an organization, a community, and a nation that is worth pursuing. We are a group of people who are trying to improve our lives and the lives of others through the development of this nation. So that being the case, I hope you all are doing well today. And I just wanted to outline that. I see now we have about 6 viewers and a like. Thank you guys so much for being here. And again, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down in the comment section because I am trying to think through this with you guys right now. The big goals that we have are those 3, developing Vitae, developing our technology, which we're now basically completed on. We're going to have some projects in that I'm going to go into in a little more detail soon. But then as well, later in the live stream. but then as well, we have that community outreach. And so the first two are things that Tiffany and I, as well as some of our other local citizens, have been working toward desperately. We've been, pushing and pushing and pushing to try and get more and more done. So that's why you guys have seen a ton of these live streams recently on our channel. That's, micronational capital development, live at Vitae, because we're going out there just about every weekend to continue working, to continue making our mark on what is now our new home. And so on top of that, we're pushing for these technological developments, and that's tiring and that's exhausting. So by the end of the day, we rarely have any time to put toward that community outreach, to put toward developing connections both to the micronational community online, as well as to the local macronational community here in Alabama. It's tough. It's tough for recruiting purposes, for just gaining new citizens, getting more people interested in what we're doing. It's tough for business concerns to be able to actually pitch what we have the capability to do to people who may be economically interested in that. And these are challenges that are difficult to overcome when you don't have a lot of time at your disposal. Because we're pushing on everything else, that time is limited. So we have to make a decision. And this is a very crucial one. Do we either slow down on those first two goals? Do we pump the brakes and actually try to limit how much we're developing Vitae and our technological goals in order to shift and start focusing more heavily on community development? That's tough because right now, with this large project of our first dwelling underway, it's a huge milestone for us, again, in being able to have a shelter out there, something that if we had a party, people could get out of the rain. If we just need to store equipment for speedier development, we have the opportunity to do that. To be able to protect things and lock them away, we have the ability to do that. It's such a foundational milestone for development at Vitae to get that dwelling done. So we really don't want to stop doing that. But we need help with the community engagement, the community development. So what I've been trying to think about, and you guys will have to let me know what you think of the idea, I have been trying to figure out ways to partner with other micronations, as we've done in the past, on collaborative efforts so that I could showcase those other micronations here on the channel so that the empire could have a closer connection to those nations and our citizens could meet your citizens, and our projects can become your projects, and your projects can get intertwined with our projects. So that way, as we're continuing these things, as we have more and more joint efforts going on, there is less of the pressure on us to constantly advertise and post what we're doing, because if another micronation has the time and ability to do that for us, that would be incredible. If we had a joint project where we're sitting here working on it physically, all another micronation has to do that wants to support us and to join with us could say, hey, we want to do a trade agreement. We want to do a some kind of a collaborative effort, whatever, with our YouTube channels. We'll constantly make the social media stuff. We'll constantly shout it out if you guys work on it. And that's something that we're really looking for. So if that's something that's within your nation's wheelhouse, if that's something that you or somebody that you know has a particular skill in, definitely let us know, because if you're someone who runs or works in the government of a micronation, that could be a partnership between our nations, and vice versa. If you're someone who's just looking at the channel and interested in becoming a citizen or connecting with us in some way, definitely let us know, because that could be a pathway to some of those opportunities. Again, we are trying constantly every day to figure out how to push more and more and more on these efforts. And so what it ultimately comes down to for us is how much support we can get, how much we can find ways to utilize our efforts and the community's efforts in the most efficient way possible. And again, right now, the biggest struggle on our end is time. We have all of these ideas, we have all of these resources now that we're able to apply. And yet, money and time are the two most crucial things that we are lacking. And so we have a small amount of money, talking teensy, and we have an even smaller amount of free time. So what we are doing is trying to find ways to unclog our system effectively. We're trying to figure out how we're going to take all these amazing plans that we have and projections for the future and turn them into reality when there's this big roadblock that is in just how much time we can spend sharing all of that with you. And so that sharing of that information becomes crucial. It's a bottleneck in actually what we can do, because the more you guys see what we're up to, the more you guys get excited about it, the more you guys show other people and they get excited about it, the easier it is for us to push forward. That means potentially more subscribers to our Patreon, people who care about supporting us and keeping the channel alive, keeping the micronation pushing forward, and keeping the empire strong. But secondly, that then goes into, you know, just kind of personal connection. It's not only about, you know, hey, can we get these people, this community together so that we can have more patrons? It's also about, you know, do we have people who sincerely care about knowing that there is a nation out there like us? Are there other nations out there like us with very similar ideals and values that we can learn from, that can teach us, hey, you say you're this type of nation, you say you have this type of ideology, but you may want to look into these things. Or if you say you're going to run things like this, maybe you should think about adding these other concepts in, or adjusting and tweaking the way that you do this or this so that you can attract more people with like-minded interests. We've done this and this and this, and we've found all these different examples of how successful we've been in this type of marketing campaign or whatever. That is huge, and more micronations need to jump on it. So we are trying to be the call to action. We're trying to push that charge to be able to say, yo, if there is anybody out there, and I am talking about anybody, a micronationalist, a non-micronationalist, whatever, if you guys can help us to try to find those people who have you know, social media followings, people who would be interested in just creating some sort of social media content as a collaboration between our micronations, to get their nation shouted out, to, you know, to have their nation's flag in the Garden of Nations, whatever it may be, there is opportunity. The Empire of Aeternia currently values social media content. The Empire of Aeternia currently has a need for a social media development partner. And so, if we could find that in another micronation, that could be economically beneficial for that nation. That doesn't mean we can, you know, pay a salary or anything like that. That doesn't mean it would be any kind of like real specific work. But if we could do a partnership, hey, there's a specific event that we're trying to do or whatever, we partner with your nation and your nation helps us out with, you know, creating the social media content for it. We could, again, create you something out of metal. We could send you a little small version of your flag. There are things that could be small gestures that could enrich your nation that would be incredibly beneficial for us. And we would be lucky to have the opportunity to do. So again, if these are things that you feel your nation is skilled in, or someone that you know who just wants to be a part of Aeternia, there are significant benefits to that. And I would encourage you to discuss those with us. Discuss, hey, what does your micronation need that we might be able to offer? Because again, that connection, that being able to advertise and share what we're doing is paramount for us right now. So I hope everybody is doing well this evening. Again, let us know what you're up to. If your micronation is developing right now, if you have had a micronation for years and years, if you have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to micronationalism, leave me a comment. Let me know what you're up to and kind of what your thoughts on all of this are. Because as someone who has been running a micronation for almost the last 8 years, it is a big blind spot of mine to be able to really connect with our micronational community. I try to check in with citizens as often as I can. Those are the people that I have a sworn duty to. And of course, I have a sworn duty to our allies as well. But outside of that very limited range of people, I don't have enough time to keep up with the community often. I don't have enough time to know what each community is really good at and what they're really pushing toward. So all the time I'll see things in the Discord where, you know, it'll take me a week or two to jump back into our general chat, and all of a sudden I'll see people saying, yo, I have like this flag up and I've been building this fence thing and I've been doing this. Oh, our nation has created this like really crazy website, or we created like part of like a video game or whatever. There are so many creative people in our community doing really cool things, and their nations are skilled. They are subject matter experts in those fields. And that's crazy to me that we have so much talent in our community, and yet our community is still so divided. There are so many micronations out there looking for help, looking for ways to get a leg up and to grow in their weak points. And we're all each other's strengths. We have the ability to complement each other's nations really well, to be able to assist each other's nations with their weak points by having strong points ourselves that are different. And yet we rarely do that. And that's, again, partially on, you know, our empire directly. We have not sought out those opportunities enough. We have not taken the time to learn enough about all these different nations and all these different groups that are around us. But nonetheless, we want to hear from you. If you feel like, oh, we've been slept on, our nation has been ignored, you don't know what we're capable of, you don't know what we're up to, let us know. Give us the insight, the scoop on your nation, because more than likely, we want to be a partner to you. We want to be able to get closer to your nation and develop those ties. It's just so hard with us driving out a long way every weekend to try to physically build this dwelling, this shelter, you know, putting in the framing, putting up the outer paneling, you know, doing everything we've been doing, digging out the frame. It's months of work that we've been up to. And every time we go out there, we're able to work a little faster. We're able to do a little bit more. But all that time and all that skill we're learning locally has not translated, you know, in the micronational community. It has not been enough to really push us further and harder in our promotion, in our development as a nation. And that's where you come in. That's where your assistance would mean the world to us. We value that. Like I said, it is something that our economy needs. And so if you feel like you have the golden ticket, if you feel like you have the key to solving that problem for us, I want to hear it. And I would even be willing to make it a quest. I would even be willing to have a reward claimable for something like that, for being able to host some kind of larger event where we pool those ideas together, where we have people trying to submit for a position even in Aeternian society, if it's for, you know, citizenship, government, or just for a potential partnership between our nations, some sort of, again, like a trade deal or a you know, an official collaborative effort between our nation and another nation to work on something like that, to give our social media that extra boost that it needs, and to be able to just show people more of what we've been up to. We have catalogs and catalogs and catalogs of just different files on my computer, different files on my phone that are little snippets of videos and pictures and stuff that I've taken here and there, and we don't have enough time to sit there and edit them and push them out. And that sucks. That sucks for you guys. That sucks for our patrons. That sucks for all the people who have helped us and supported us along the way who aren't getting that. And so if we had a partner, you know, a micronation who could help us to do that, who could show off their content along with ours and kind of have that collaboration and that mashup, we could find a way to work together with a different group, there is a very small limit on what we could do. I think we could accomplish a great deal. And so as we push forward this year, as we get closer and closer to our founding day, we have to try to figure that out. As the Emperor of Aeternia, I have to try and gauge what it is that the community wants and what it is that is best for our citizens. So as we keep pushing, I'm going to be thinking about that more and more. And I'm going to keep upping the ante on that more and more. So again, whether that's somebody local that we find who's able to help us out and able to continue to help us push our social media, you know, somebody who's maybe has a government position in that, that may be the way to go. If not, we may be looking at, again, some sort of external solution for that. We may outsource that job, so to speak. And that's tough for our community as well, because ideally we would like to have that be completely internal. You know, if it's just about promoting our content, you know, our updates on our micronation, we want that to be solely internal. But because we have a limited time on that, not only myself and Tiffany, but also the rest of our citizens are pretty bogged down with everyday life. And I think that's normal for everyone. But I know that there are some people out there with amazing talents who are already pushing in these fields, who are already developing things for their own social media, for their own communities, who have gotten that to a science, who have gotten that down pat. And so the more that we can kind of push toward that, the more that we can either learn from somebody who has more experience than us, or, you know, have somebody actually help take over and, you know, push our social media, or, you know, work on collaborative efforts to kind of, you know, boost each other's social media. That's what we're looking for right there. That's what's going to be key, I think, for this year's development for the Empire, you know, for us to continue to grow as we have, for us to continue to show off these crazier and crazier things that we're doing, and for us to be able to, you know, salvage more of our time to utilize till we're growing that social media, and to be able to properly record the things that we want to show you guys our efforts and what we've been up to. All of that comes down to how much we can do right now. We want to build our nest egg. We want to start that investment, trying to work with the community, trying to build up those relations, trying to sow the seeds of our success for right now, so that way years down the line we have a better strategy on how to go about this. We have better techniques on how to you know, push these things out and how to organize them. Again, it's not going to be an overnight process, but that is the key to our strategy this year, and that's going to be something that we're trying to work on. If you've been a supporter of the channel for years, you'll probably know that I am one of the worst when it comes to organization. Specifically, it's weird too, because I can do organization when it comes to planning out events, tasks, things like that. When I have to organize things over a long period of time, I'm usually better at it. But ironically, when it comes to doing live streams, things that could be planned further out, when it comes to, you know, planning out edited videos, things like that, when it comes to a lot of our social media, I'm not great at it. And so, you know, sometimes a video that I want to come out in a month takes 3 months. A video that I want to come out in a week takes 2 months. So as we keep going, I really want to be able to work on that. Oh, hey, hold on. I realized all the chat, I was like missing it. First off, Whitewind, great to see you. Tim said, the amazing Grace. Thank you, Tim. Great to see you. Whitewind says, ooh, stick welding. My dad taught me how to stick weld. My brother taught me MIG. Hey, that's awesome. Our machine can do MIG, but we don't have the setup right now for it. And I don't know how to do it, to be honest with you. So I need to get gas for that. I need to get the actual like spool for MIG, for you know, the little wire for it, and, you know, just set it up and practice. JJ, good to see you. We are not an AI thing, but it'd be cool. It'd be cool if, like, as I was talking, I grew like a third eye and, you know, quadruple chin and, you know, 14 ears and stuff as I like moved around the screen. Hey, Whitewind said everyone liked the stream. Thank you, Whitewind. You're helping. James said new stream. Nice. Thank you, James, for being here and for liking the stream if you did. JJ said that's what a robot say. Who's Tiffany? Hey, what's going on? Lots to catch up on, JJ. You seem not to know much about the community, but I'm happy to tell you. First off, let me say hi to everybody else. Malinga, great to see you. Whitewind, great to see you. James said, why not appoint some community managers with clear goals? That's a great question. So I would say, again, the biggest issue with that is generally that people have limited time. James, for example, as a citizen, you are somebody who seems super dedicated to Aeternia. You're somebody who's come on as one of our newer citizens. And yet I know you, for example, are studying and working towards your bachelor's. You are somebody who's trying to get a degree, and that's admirable. That's something that we will need for years to come in the Empire. especially with the specialty that you're going in. So it's really impressive. I'm excited to see it, but yet it's one of those investments. It's something that's going to take a ton of your time away. And so if somebody has extra time to donate, I'd really like them to volunteer, because I can call for it and I can ask for it, but just appointing it tends not to go too well, because as a monarch, it's a difficult line to toe, because I have the ability to tell people, hey, this is your assigned role, this is what you need to do. But if that person is busy, then they either say one of two things. They say, I can't do it, which I just have to accept and move on, or they get nervous about it. They say, I'll try my best. And then it kind of teeters off. If it's not something that somebody is really interested in personally, they're not going to pursue it with passion, and they're not going to be able to get their objectives met. And a lot of the time it feels like an added stressor to someone. If someone wants to come out and says, hey, I love working with social media stuff, I'd love to be a part of the Empire's team on that, and try to develop in that way, that's what we would want to do. We have, for example, our government, James, one of the things you mentioned to me the other day, you were talking about ministers. The Empire of Aeternia, if you read our Guide of Foundation and Principles, doesn't have any ministers. We actually have houses. So the government is broken up into the emperorship up top, and then below them different houses, which are segments effectively defining different parts of Aeternian life. And then each house has a master. So, for example, we have the Master of Treasure, who deals with our economy, things dealing with internal and external trade. And then we have the Master of Others, who deals with like our social media, our foreign policy, things like that, dealing with things external to the empire, dealing with our branding, our identity, and how we present ourselves to others, both in a cultural sense and in a recruitment sense. And so the large issue that we have there is that it's exciting for people, I think, to be citizens in the empire. You know, we have events, we have things that we do that people tend to get interested in and want to be a part of. But there's an entirely different level from being a citizen to being what we would call in these different houses, house nobility. So becoming a noble, becoming a part of the government, which a house noble is below the masters. So it's the lowest tier of government official that you can be, but is a much, much higher tier than any citizen. That is somebody who is a subject matter expert. It is somebody who is specifically dedicated to accomplishing set goals that they report on regularly, that they're working on regularly. And that's a big jump in time commitment. It's hard to have something that is paced well, I should say. But we will always continue to keep learning. And if you have recommendations for ways to maybe improve on that, to find ways for citizens to work together and to be a part of it, something that you feel like you could assist with, let us know, because it's very important. James says, I think he's referring to my comment about the new stream, which is admittedly something a bot could say. Oh, interesting. Melinda says, hey, sorry, my defense minister is crazy. Oh, you're good. I hope everything's okay. And also, I would suggest that if they're going to speak profanities and do stuff like that, that they don't jump on as much. Whitewind says, in roughly 2 years' time, maybe I could be out there helping develop Vitae. I appreciate that, Whitewind. That would mean a lot. I would love to get to meet you. It's very cool. I would say it's amazing to see some of the stuff that comes out of our community, especially because, like, for example, with Whitewind. Whitewind has been one of our friends in the community for a long time, a fellow nation that has similar ideals to ours, that has a similar government format to us and a similar structure. And yet, just because of sheer distance and because we're both developing different things, it's very hard for us to get to know each other more. It's very hard for us to actually continue to develop, micronational collaborations simply because of that. So absolutely, Whitewind, the more time that you have available, the more ability that you have to travel and to do things, let us know, because we want all the help we can get, and we want to find ways to serve Whitewind as well. Melinda says, once. Paul says, congratulations, keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Paul. Now that I'm jumping in the comments, everybody's on. Sorry, I had the comment set to top comment, and so it was being weird. Malinga says, you look like that one time you were talking to that crazy Anloria I watched but didn't chat. Oh, wild. I was talking about your faith. Oh, just random messaging. James says, AP, I feel a major issue here is a lack of bureaucrats. You're running the entire nation pretty much solo. As a monarch, perhaps you should begin the process of delegation to a competent government. He says, AP, as you said, you don't have a lot of time, so moving to delegate what you can delegate online would help free up more time for the micronation. Malinga said, I had to go. Bye. Great to see you. James, that is a great point, and that's exactly what I'm trying to highlight here. You're right. That is a crucial limiting factor on what we can do. That is something that is a weakness in our nation. And so I would love to delegate, but again, it's hard to just simply do it because there are so many people who want to be a part of our nation, who want to cheer us on, but have very specific means to do so. There are plenty of people who say, hey, I don't have any time whatsoever to support the empire, but I have a little bit of money. I can give you $1 a month. That counts for my citizenship tax, which is a big help to us, by the way. That is more than enough for us. But if that's what they can do, that's what they can do. There are other people who have come in the past and said, I don't have any money to support the empire, but I can make a couple videos, or I can, make a couple of Instagram posts or whatever. And they do that. That's super helpful. Or I can monitor the Discord and I can be the Discord admin. And that's amazing. And those people help us to accelerate to where we've been at this point. Some of the most watched YouTube videos we have on our YouTube channel are little short clips that were created by other people who just have a talent for those things and had some time to give. So that's something that's just going to take time, I think, because we don't want to alienate our community. We want to welcome that collaboration. We want to have people who come in and are eager to be a part of things. And if you have a specific passion, you have a specific goal you're pointed at, we want to help you to develop it. So if you say, I'm good at social media, we want to help you to become the best social media person you can. One, because it'll benefit us, but secondly, because we can roll all of those extra growth and that development we get back onto you for your own personal benefit, for your financial benefit, but also so that we can just continue to have you grow that for us. It's something that we can continue to feed into as a vector for our growth, as a way for us to continue pushing what we do. So that is absolutely necessary. That is the dream catch for us, is finding people who are interested in an actual time commitment. But if we are just dictating that to people, if we are just delegating and saying, hey, this is your responsibility, this is your duty as a citizen, it becomes harder because it may alienate some people. People may say, hey, well, I'm eager to do that, and so I don't want to say no, but I also don't really have the time commitment to do that, or even the interest in doing it. So it's tough, because there are some citizens who come to us hitting the ground running. They know what they want to do, they have their means to do it, and they're off. But there are a lot of people who don't. And so it's either a dilemma of finding something that they are interested in pursuing and passionate about, or it is about trying to find what is within their time abilities, within their means for their own schedule. Oxide Actual says, if you could label your political ideology in a sentence, what would you consider yourself? That's a great question, Oxide Actual. I would say that's tough, right? It's really tough because we are a monarchy, right? And so I am an autocrat. I'm somebody who is controlling with an iron fist, so to speak. And that is the way that our government is set up. And I think because of our micronational setup, that's necessary. You're saying in a sentence, and I'm going way over that, but I'm prefacing all this just to say that my political beliefs and leanings are very different from the government structure in Aeternia, and so I don't want people to conflate what I say with the way that our government is set up and think that there's this weird disconnect. I personally support many social programs. I believe that the government should take care of its citizens as completely as possible. So that goes all the way from food, shelter, electricity, to a job, to transportation, to healthcare, the whole line. I think that our purpose as citizens is to cultivate our own lives so that we have as much of our own free time as possible to be able to create and pursue what we want out of our lives. But That being the case, I think the role of the government, and the reason that we have all of these institutions we do, is to preserve people's ability to develop independently. If we are limited in our lives by how much we have to purchase, for example, if you have to have a job every day of your life in order to afford a car to drive around, which is a necessity in your society, to be able to afford health insurance, to be able to go to the doctor, to be able to pay your rent so that you have somewhere to live and exist, all of those things hamper your time that you have to grow and develop into the person that you want to pursue opportunities that may not exist because you don't have the ability to chase after them. So, all of that prefacing being said, to answer your question, Oxide Actual, I would say in a sentence, my political ideology would probably be somewhere along the lines of socialism. That being said, that's not the governmental form that we choose. And socialism really isn't a governmental ideology. It's more of a social ideology. It's more of an economic policy. But yet there are lots of governmental connections that people have to, people think of, one-party governments and things like that. People think of the Chinese government, the North Korean government for socialist governments, although Denmark, Sweden, places like that also have socialist governments, but are also very democratic. We, weirdly enough, are in a completely different camp, where we have just a straight-up monarchy, just a straight-up single person run government, single person headed government, I should say. And yet we support economically a practice of socialism as we develop, for example, our capital territory of Vitae. The purpose of that is to create benefit for myself and for my family, to be able to live, to be able to minimize our costs so that we have more opportunity to grow and develop our resources economically, culturally, socially, in all those ways. And then we want to extend that to others. We want to create excess value, more than just what we need, so that we can offer that to other people and say, hey, if you feel like your life is hard and stressful and you're just pushing every day just to make ends meet, we can help to alleviate some of that. We can provide you with extra food for free. We can provide you with a place to live if necessary for free. We can provide you these things in the case that you are able to help us develop. We won't, sit there and say, okay, because you live here, you have this exact, amount of hours you have to fulfill in your governmental duties. But we want to find people who are actually eager and seeking out that effort and to legitimately become invested in our society so that we don't have to chase them around with a stick and say, you should be doing your work. What we effectively want to do in our society as we continue to go forward is to select very carefully who it is that is able to become an Aeternian citizen, and then from that gift those people with opportunity and try to make it as easy for them to succeed as possible. And every once in a while we check in with those people and make sure that they are still earning their Aeternian citizenship, make sure that they are still people who work well with our community. Those that do will continue to be promoted and supported and continue to become deeper and deeper entrenched in our community and take on larger and larger roles, have more and more authority and more influence. Those who do not may not be a good fit. And so that is a big amount of stuff to say in some way socialism, but in a very unique, specific way. White Wind says, you need the wire gas and settling tank. Settling tank. I will have to look into that one. Magni 1001 says, I'm in Icelandic tourism, small communities with few locals. I'm a minority being Icelandic. I invite everyone living around to join tours for free. Connect people if you can. Absolutely, 100%. That's a great benefit. So how has that been going? If you're like going around to these Icelandic communities, tell us more about that journey. What got you into that? What got you, seeing that in these other communities? Has this always been the case? Is this something fairly recent? White Wind says, White Wind is wanting to set up a new form of government right now, with me still at the top, but like a council underneath me, so I wouldn't have to constantly run White Wind, parentheses like the UK has. That makes a lot of sense. James says, I feel as though the process of building a community could also build on the idea of an empire. vassalization of other micronations, consequently, to better delegate and develop our culture and community, of course, certain criteria would need to be reached to remain a member state of the empire. We could work on that more extensively in DMs. I completely agree, James. I will say we have had a history with attempts to incorporate other nations into Aeternia, into the empire. And we declare ourselves an empire because we do want to be expansive. We do want to take over other micronations, take over, other plots of land and continue to develop those. But we have a more strict definition now that we work under. And it's effectively that if we are going to develop a territory in any way, that territory needs to be owned by us, legally owned by us, a property title that we have that we could turn into the United States or any other government that needs it to say, we directly own this. We completely own and control this property. And so the issue with developing and taking over lots of other micronations is that generally those micronations want to remain themselves. So they would say, hey, we are the kingdom of Billy-stan, and the kingdom of Billy-stan will become a part of the Empire of Aeternia so long as the king can still remain the king and can still lead, can still do all of those things in Billy-stan and keep their government just like they do, but just underneath the empire. And the issue with that is that, one, a lot of micronational projects can be highly fluctuating. So, people can in one moment decide they want a specific thing and stick to it, and then they may shift winds, that things may change for them, whether they're economic resources, what have you, and their government may change. They may collapse the nation. They may do all these different things. And that tends to lead to a lot of instability and can be difficult. It's not a bad way to go. There are other micronations who have attempted those things. But I fear that in order to do something like that, the best way of going about it would be to completely demolish those other nations. If a nation wanted to become a vassal of the empire, I don't think we would have them become a vassal of the empire by continuing to exist in their state at all. I think the idea would be that you could just, dissolve your state and become a citizen of the empire and start growing that way. We've had actually a number of micronationalists who have done that from time to time and become a part of the empire. And the issue with that as well is that it's difficult to support people when you have some specific hierarchy that you're trying to follow and have that person or that micronation become like a vassal state, but they have their own unique culture, they have their own unique things that they're trying to do, and you're also trying to incorporate that into what your larger empire is doing. It can become very fractured, it can become divisive, and I worry that the amount of time necessary to properly support that structure outpaces the value that you get from it, at least in the ways that would be directly beneficial to our personal long-term goals. As the empire, we are trying to develop in a way that is very, very concrete. We want all of the assets that we have, all of the resources that we work with, all of the people that we work with, to be directly and intimately connected to what we are doing. We want those people to be directly Aeternians first and foremost, and to not have these external allegiances. In fact, one of the things that we require for citizenship is that you not have any other micronational ties. You can't be a citizen of another micronation. You can't be a part of the government of another micronation. You can't have any titles in another micronation, because that can lead to a division in loyalty. You're not sure if these two groups disagree, which one you're going to support, and that puts our empire on very shaky ground in a lot of different areas. So instead of continually trying to fight all the time to maintain stability, I think it's almost better for us to start from a very stable position and slowly grow our efforts outward. White Wind says, I've consensually vassalized 2 micronations that are nearby, which boosted my initial Whitelandic population from 80 to the 200s. James says, AP, what do you think about the integration of other micronations as member states of the empire, vassals, or internal baronies, republics, and counties? under certain criteria, of course. I hope I helped to answer that, James. If not, please let me know. I would love to clarify further. But again, that's something to be discussed for sure. I would be excited to discuss it in DMs and to see what comes out about that. White Wind says, although with a lot of citizens also put stress onto me, hence my new proposition of a form of government that I am thinking of. Hey, congratulations, White Wind. Vincent says, AP, it's been a very hot summer, but also I started volunteering at the Naval Museum here in Georgia, and I'm getting more involved in my local community and is working on a project for the museum. Congratulations, Vincent. I saw a little bit. I've, again, been in and out of the Discord General, and I thank you for uploading and providing all that information to us in the General. People are excited about that. People in the micronational community love history. They love connecting to their culture and to the other things that other people are doing. And so when you post those, like, I saw the pictures of the ship that are being developed, you know, and being repaired. I saw different pictures of old books and stuff, I think, that you were looking at. Just internal pictures of the museum and stuff. Very cool. Congratulations, Vincent, on the job. I know it's something just from our personal experience together that I know you're going to love, and you probably already do. So I'm excited to hear more about it. Please keep us updated. James says, I would consider the Empire of Aeternia a popular absolutist monarchy over an advisory, question mark. Could you clarify that? Again, my background is not politics, though I do try to learn as much as I can. I am very ignorant when it comes to certain terms. So, James, if you could please clarify what the difference between a popular absolutist monarchy versus an advisory would be, I would appreciate it. Solonian government says hello. James says the house system makes me think of the merchant republics of Venice or Genoa. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, I think that's kind of the idea. We want to allow some flexibility. For example, the other system that we are going to be developing, the house system is like a federal government system, if you can think of it that way, where we are running things for the entire empire. So the people who become house nobles are not the house noble of vitae, of a specific capital territory or territory in general. They are over the entire empire. So a noble who's assigned to a specific task, say social media management, is going to be that noble for the entire empire. They're going to be running social media content and programming for the entire empire. On the other hand, we have lords, which will become the leaders of our individual territories. So similar to mayors or governors or, you know, what have you, counts, dukes, or princes, the lords of different territories will be the heads of those territories. So they may appoint their own advisors and do things like that, although those are going to have to still be, you know, connected directly and appropriately developed first through the empire. So it's not something where, you know, like for example with the idea of vassalization, where a king comes in and says, hey, my nation is so-and-so, you know, the kingdom of Billistan, and I'm going to now become a lord in Aeternia, and all of my advisors, all these people are also going to just become Aeternians. Again, that's not necessarily the way that it would work, because those setups, those lordships have to connect with and go through the imperial government to be able to do that appointing and connecting and all of that. We all need to be in sync and in agreement on what happens there. So Aeternia very much has a top-down structure of government where everybody's reporting to someone above them, everybody's connected to someone above them, and everybody has some responsibility to someone above them, going all the way to me. Who I'm responsible for ends up being everybody at the bottom, everybody all the way up the chain. So I am, in Aeternia, the way that our values work is not only am I the person who bears, not only am I the person who has the most authority and the most control, and I'm, you know, the buck stops with me, so to speak, as the emperor, but also I have the most responsibility and accountability. In Aeternia, in the empire, the way that it works is government officials, people who have any official duties, any official authority, must be held to a higher standard, significantly higher standard than any regular citizen. So this means that if you were a government official, you have to double check your work. You have to be prepared not only to present to your boss or your leader in the government, your higher up in the government, but you also have to be responsible for knowing that the actions that you make on and the things that you choose to do on behalf of the people below you are going to be staunchly criticized, and you have to be prepared to defend those actions. You have to be prepared for the consequences of those if you made a mistake, if there's an error. So we are very serious about the development of our empire and supporting the actual needs of the people who are involved in it, because we don't have any other option. We have limited resources. We have an incredible community that support us, and so we have to make sure we do right by those people every single day. Salone Government says hello. James says, Magni says, hey, many social programs, many social programs of joy is my primary goal at the moment. Hey, congratulations. I'm excited to see how that works out for you. Keep us updated, Magni. And if you haven't joined our Discord, join it, because it would help us a lot. And give you a good outlet for posting that information. Real quick, Shelnox says, what state province are you in, even though you are the one true claim? That's a great question, Gelnox. We are in the state of Alabama. So we are in the United States and the state of Alabama, micronationally. We are the Empire of Aeternia. James says, hello. Oxide Actual says, the whole idea of micronations and this Aeternia is something extremely new to me. I've just joined this YouTube stream. B2W, I'm a nationalist, socialist, and eco-fascist. Tell me more of the vision. I'm curious what you mean by eco-fascism. Generally, fascism has a pretty negative connotation, and I'm concerned about the word. So please update me and let me know what that means exactly. But also, if you want to support us, if you want to learn more about micronations, definitely subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, because we have a lot more information on that. If you have any questions, reach out. We have links in the description for, again, our YouTube, our Patreon, all of that, and also just for our Discord, so you can talk and hang out, and our email, so you can ask us those questions. James says, Aeternia is in western Alabama. Check the sites. That's true. By the way, I have something that I want to update you guys on. I am getting closer on the micronational map. We had over 180, I think, new responses to the micronational map that I had yet to answer, going all the way back to like 2022 or something. It's now, 12,022. It's now 12,024 by the Holocene calendar, by our standard calendar. But we had almost 200 micronational map applications that had gone unresponded to. And that's completely my fault. Again, lack of time, lack of ability to handle all the things that we're working on. However, I have updated about 70, 80 of those. We have just 100 left. They're still very heavily backlogged. But what I'm going to try and do is finish those 100, get that out, get the map updated. And then when I let you guys know, hey, the map is officially up to date, if anybody has anything that they want updated about their application, there are plenty of people who post something to our map and say, hey, this is where my micronation is, this is what we're up to. And then a few months later, a year later, when something changes, their name, their flag, their history, whatever, their email address, they want to update it. So they submit another request. That's perfectly fine. There have been a number of them that I haven't gotten to simply because I know that they're already on the map. And so I jump ahead to go to other people who are trying to get on the map for the first time, so I can use my time as wisely as possible. I'm going to go back and try to make the most updates I can. If I miss anybody, let me know and tell me that you need your thing corrected. Resend an application once I finish all of these new ones. I'm going to get through, I'm going to tell you guys, and then you can update, and we will fix that again. Anyway, James says, AP is a benevolent monarch. His vision is admirable. Thank you so much, James. I appreciate that. You supporting us, it means the world. I mean that. We are a people who have been trying to do this for years and years and are getting within grasp, within, so close we can almost taste it. We're within within reach of everything that we have dreamed of, and you were helping us to make that possible. So we have many, many years of plans down the line to get to, but for right now, your help is pushing those along. James says, everyone remember to like. It will boost the stream and channel in the algorithm. Yes, absolutely, James. Please make sure to like, everybody. If you're interested in this whatsoever, it does help us a ton. And it also helps so that people try to understand a little bit more about what we're doing. If somebody clicks on a video for a second, just like our friend Janox over here. Excuse me, was it Janox? Excuse me, Oxide Actual. Like our friend Oxide Actual. You may not know what micronationalism is at all. And so you may need updates, you may need information. And so this may be people's very first step into micronationalism, whether it's to join your community in micronation, whether it's to start their own. This could be somebody's very first step. So help them along and definitely support the stream. White Wind says, eco-fascist, what does that Vincent said, eco-fascist, what does that even mean? Yeah, I'm like, that's concerning. White Wind says, eco-fascism is environmentalism through genocide. Open Klein. Political researcher Alex Amen defined eco-fascist belief as the devaluing of human life, particularly of populations seen as inferior, in order to protect the environment viewed as essential to white identity. Oh, gross. Gross. Yeah, so no, we can't support that for sure. That's what I was going to say. Anything that says anything about like fascism is super gross. I was very concerned about that. Oxide Actual is an ideology of traditional fascism and incorporates element and renewable practice. No, don't do it. Why? Why are you trying to bring that back? Don't do it. Good to be environmental, bad to be the other thing. Vincent says, so what made you be a fascist? Yeah, exactly. Magni says, like I said, I connect the people living around me. Most/all moved from abroad to live on this icy rock, almost all living of tourism, but afraid to connect with people working on the next farm. I love anarchy, giving your job to another worker and visiting and enjoying their work. That's awesome, Magni. It sounds like you're able to really revitalize your community like that and maybe teach people things they would have had no idea about in the first place. So thank you for doing what you do. I'm sure that you are making a lot of people's lives much better now that they have you. So if there's any wisdom you can spread to us, if there's any advice you can give us, or if there's anyone you can send our way to teach them a little bit about micronationalism and what we're trying to do, please do so. And again, like the video if you can. Oxide Actual says, Vincent, it's an extremely elaborate reason on why, and for the purpose of maintaining focus on the stream, I would not like to delve into it. Interesting. AB asked, are we a Disney adult? That's a great question. I personally am not a Disney adult, but I know a number of people who are. There are some fanatics out there. We are not a Disney adult. We are not Disney adults here, but I'm sure you can find your community somewhere. Mantis Shadow says they wrote a book called The Pragmatist. They wrote a book on this called The Pragmatist Guide to Governance. Interesting. The Pragmatist Guide to Government. I'll have to check it out. Thank you, Martin. Also, Martin, excuse me, I said Martin. Mantis, thank you for being here, and please like the video. Magni says, I do ATV and snowmobile and ATV tours. Restaurant staff around visit and join tours for free, and I visit them and get free food or beer. That's awesome. That sounds like a pretty good collaboration to me. James says, I'll see you later, Emperor AP. I'm starting my nightly Bible study. Best of luck in the rest of the stream. Good luck, James. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful night. I will see you soon. Vincent says, yeah, it's amazing. I really enjoy it. And on Thursday, we're getting ready for a 4th of July celebration that I look forward to. I'll take pictures and send them to you if you'd like in DMs. Yes, please. I would appreciate it. Vincent said, also, I'm getting better at sewing flags, so let me know if you'd like one for Bate. I use sewing machine methods I learned to work at the museum, so it should look similar to how flags were sewn. Yes, I would love that. That would be amazing. We have one flag, and it's really nice, and it was a gift, and so I don't want to go and fly it on a flagpole out of Bate. But Vincent, if you are hand sewing flags, we could absolutely do that. I'm not sure if there are special techniques to make the flag more weather durable, or if we could, apply something to it after you've sewn it to make it more durable. But if you could get us a flag that we could fly at Bate, that would be amazing. I would love that. Magni says, most people working in Icelandic tourism are foreign. I'm Icelandic, want to give everyone who decides to move here the best enjoyment of this beautiful icy rock. Very cool. Okay, Magni says, 2 last things. Stay happy, stay safe, and be unafraid to grow a great mustache. You have the base for it. Hey, I appreciate it. Go back and check out our previous videos, our previous live streams, Magni. I just shaved my mustache like a couple hours ago or something. I definitely recommend you check out our previous live stream where I just had it. I had the full thing, little goatee. If you want to see that, check it out. Because we have been building a lot at Vitae as well. It'll show you what we're physically doing to build this micronation. Magni says, sent a like and we'll be finding your Discord. Yes, please, Magni. Thank you so much. It's in the description, by the way. Link should be in the description to our Discord. Magni said, any questions about our biggest small country of Iceland I could answer? Yes, that is a great point. Any question? I've never been to Iceland, so can you tell me more about Iceland? Is there anything unique to Iceland that anyone, you know, if they ever visit there, says there's nothing like this in the world? I'm sure the views are incredible. I now, living in Western Alabama, am somebody who has previously never lived near mountains. And these aren't big mountains. They're little hills to most people. But to me, it was amazing to see just some geological, you know, object out in the distance. To be able to see something like that, these actual little raised parts of the land was wild. I think a lot of people, you know, who grow up around here in places that are even more mountainous, they don't think about it. They don't realize that there's these big hulking things out in the distance all the time. And it just becomes a part of everyday life. I find myself driving through traffic and doing things like that, not thinking about the fact that all of a sudden I turn and look a little bit to the side and there are these large, gorgeous landscapes, these beautiful valleys off in the distance that stretch for miles. You can see all the nature and the wildlife out there. It's awe-inspiring. It is amazing. So I would love to know if there's anything similar about Iceland that you just, every once in a while you stop and go, God, I live here. This is incredible. What? This is unique truly in all the world. Vincent said, I'm not sure how to make it stand up to the elements for a while. I'll have to do research on that, but I usually double up on cloth to make it more durable to the elements. I'll look into it, AP. Thank you, Vincent. I appreciate that. That means a lot. As well, you know, potentially there are, I wouldn't want to ruin your work, but if we could do it, if you think your materials would stand up to it, I know there are like hydrophobic sprays and things like that we can get that work on I think basically all cloth materials, from leathers to, you know, cottons to synthetic fibers. I think there's a lot that we could do to weatherproof it after the fact, even if you couldn't find weatherproofed special materials, especially to keep your costs down. If you're fine with making it and putting that love and effort into it, and then helping, and then having us work on it, that would be fine. Jishnu said, I'm back. Yo, Jishnu, thank you for being here. Jishnu, another one of our citizens, one that is not local to us, but who has been an amazing supporter of us for years now. Jishnu, thank you so much for being here. We miss you on the Discord server. It's great to have you being a part of this live stream. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to talk to you more. If you ever want to reach out, Jishnu, please email us or please DM me on Discord. Again, the link's in the description. Just because we have not been able to see you. So it's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. And again, thank you for liking. Thank you for supporting the stream. I feel bad though, because I want to catch up with you. I'm going to catch up with you real quick for a minute because we just have not, we have not caught up in a second. So let me turn the light on. I'll talk to you for a few minutes and then I'm going to head out. But Republic of Deutschland says, hey AP, I'm glad I'm finally able to catch a stream. I've been busy with attending a UNICEF summit and organizing micro MUN. Hold on, Deutschland. First off, you attended a UNICEF summit? That's awesome. Tell me about the UNICEF summit. We've never been to like an international event like that. Like the closest we've done is MicroCon, which is cool, but it's not. Excuse me. Goodness, allergies. But it's not like that. Also, what is micro MUN? Jishnu says, I'm doing well. Glad to hear it. Real quick, let me turn on the light so I can have a little bit more. Oh, dang. No, I straight up think the bulb is out. Wild. I guess not. Let me see. Huh. My apologies, guys. Having a stream interruption. Do we have more light bulbs? Thank you guys for bearing with us. Dealing with light bulb issues. Magni says, everyone know... Okay, real quick, Vincent says, I think the cloth should be fine if you spray it with hydrophobic materials. Yeah, once I find some time, I'll get working on that. I start college in August as well, so I'll be busy soon. Good luck. College is tough on time. It is difficult to do scheduling and stuff with. Hey, thank you, too. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I don't know where to put it.
No, that's fine. That's plenty.
Oh, well, you could just change it with this bulb.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Well, then it's not on.
Okay, get it.
You gotta turn it off first.
I guess you're right. Potentially. Nah, you're always right. Get it, Tiff. How many Aeternians does it take to change a light bulb? 1 if it was TIFF, 2 if it's AP.
Yeah, you just twist it around.
Nice. Okay. And then I think this should work the same way. Thank you.
Where are you pushing again? Stop pushing.
Sorry. I'm not trying to be pushing. Ooh, perfect. Thank you, Tiff. Love you. We have light. Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, it'll be fun. Thank you. Yeah. Hello, everyone. But yeah, good luck with school in August. I know I am going to be... I'm already in 1 semester right now, in the summer semester. I'm taking a course, and then I will be taking a couple more courses again in the fall. So I am right there with you, Vincent. Magni says, everyone knows the views in nature since it's extraordinary and breathtaking at every turn, but recommend looking up our social structures. 350,000 people, tiny nation living better than most first world countries. That's incredible. And that's one of the things that I think is big to look at. You know, here in the US, we really, really push the idea that everybody needs to be self-sustaining. Everybody needs to have a ton of money. Everybody needs to be able to pay their own way and make their own stuff. And we forget how important small communities are to helping that. We forget how much having neighbors assisting you and helping you to get by and utilizing their skills and resources that you don't have, and then utilizing yours helps to make a community so much richer. That, you know, people forget that it takes a village to raise a child and things like that. They really, really miss these key points of just assisting each other. That's a part of human nature. We are meant to be these, you know, these clan societies, these tribal societies. We are meant to be close to our families and our friends and our small community, our tribe. And so, you know, seeing these societies that are developed, that have been developed for hundreds of years, that say that the best way to run things is for everybody to be, you know, it's you versus everyone else. It's just you and your spouse and your child against the world or whatever. That sucks. That's a bad way to live. And I think it's the core of a lot of the problems that we have here in the US that you and Iceland may not have or may not have as much of. Jishnu says, message retracted. Vincent says it's in West Alabama. Vincent said, hi, Tiffany. Sorry, real quick. I'm going to go tell Tiffany you said it. Vincent said hi. Ooh. I think she stepped away. But I will let her know, Vincent. I will let her know you said hi. Magni said, imagine a third world population, but a first world benefit, but first world benefits. That's incredible. That's awesome, Magni. Libertarianist Republic of Noble Stan says, hello, AP. What's going on, Noble Stan? It's great to see you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for liking the stream. How have you been doing? It's glad to see you making a stream. Doystick Stan says, my school's education company has been working with UNICEF to host annual student summits to teach leadership skills, sustainable development goals, and the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Very cool. Teach us a little bit about it at some point. I would love to see how that goes and how your nation is connecting to all that. Jishnu says, I'm waiting to complete my education. Good luck. I can't wait to see you, Jishnu, and I can't wait for you to be able to complete that education. Jishnu says, gotta go because school time, man. Understand. Good luck. Great to see you. And Aeternia forever, Jishnu. You helped to make that happen. Magni says, if you ever want to visit Iceland, feel free to find me if you can. Magni, DM me, email me. Let's get connected. I would love to do an Icelandic empire tour, you know, to be able to show up and say, hey, this is who we are, this is what we do. We're from, you know, downstream of you guys, but we're big fans, big fans. I would love for you to teach us. Joystick Sand says, and MicroMUN is a model UN simulation I'm organizing with a couple others directed at micronations. That sounds like fun. I think a lot of stuff like that can be great training for leadership. A lot of people join micronations or develop micronations themselves and don't really have a mindset for what it is that takes. And again, it's different for everybody. You're always going to have different goals and interests when developing something like that. But I think people are just blindsided by how many different types of skills you need to be able to run almost any type of organization. And so a lot of people get kind of that culture shock, that stun from seeing all of the work that if you have large goals for your micronation, what it really entails to try to start accomplishing those. And it gets nerve-wracking, it gets difficult. So definitely having something that can get people's minds churning on that and get them to start working and planning and seeing it, not when they're dealing with their own resources and money and other people's resources and time and efforts and stuff, but when they're dealing with, you know, some simulation. It can really help. They can test their limits. Noble Stan, White Wind says, hi, Noble Stan. I was making a logo for something. Sorry. You're all good. Great to see you. Vincent said, AP, I do hope this summer isn't too bad over in Alabama. It's been horrendous in Georgia, so stay cool and hydrated. Absolutely, it has been. I mean, same as you guys, you know, we're pretty close to each other. Upper 90s almost every day the last couple weeks. It has been rough. But yes, absolutely. We've been trying to stay hydrated, especially when we go out to work at Vitae, and I hope you have been as well, Vincent. Let's see. Liberlandic Noble Stan says, hi, Waitwind. Excuse me, libertarianist Noble Stan. So I've been good. Libertarianist Noble Stan, why are you now libertarianist? I know you used to be the Kingdom of Noble Stan. I'm going to butcher it. I think you were the Republic of Noble Stan at one point. Keep me updated. I think for a long time you were just Noble Stan official. Let us know how your nation's developing. White Wind says they're coming to get AP again. They always are. They always are. Anytime you hear sirens in the stream, know that they're coming directly here. They're coming directly at me. White Wind says they're coming to get AP again. Joystick Stand says maybe I should do a presentation at MicroCon 2025 on how micronations can make an impact by furthering the SDGs and advocating for child and human rights. You should do that. There was an amazing presentation during the 12,022 Microcon that we attended in Las Vegas that was dealing with farming. Oh goodness, who was it? It was Flandrensis. I believe it was Flandrensis. Flandrensis had a speaker who was a farmer who is not local to the leadership of Flandrensis, but I believe is a U.S. supporter. And potentially a part of their territories. I'm not sure how their claims work, but their presenter, their representative for their delegation was a farmer, and she brought amazing jams and jelly for everybody to try, fresh from their farm. Talked about how sustainable agriculture can help with providing nutrition to a local community, can just help in general with assisting a local community. So yes. Absolutely. If you have experience like that, that can just teach people about what everyone else in the world is up to, what these other political movements are doing, and how they can make friends in those places, definitely teach us. We need to learn it. Vincent says, and as a currency collector, wouldn't mind getting imperial notes as a payment. I would love that. Absolutely. We could make it happen for you, Vincent, for sure. Magni says, I'll be in touch. Always happy to make friends. Awesome. Perfect. Sheepland joined us. Hey, Sheepland, thank you so much for liking and hanging out. It's great to see you. And again, thanks, guys, for being here. Sheepland, you have missed a decent amount of the stream, but that is perfectly okay. A lot of what we were talking about today was effectively how we could get into the crux of our goals for the year. It's a month until our next founding day. We have been a nation for almost 8 years now. 8 years minus 1 month. And that is incredible. And so what are we going to do? What is the empire's main goals and efforts for going into its 8th year of existence? Almost a decade. What are we doing? Why aren't we, full speed ahead? We have 3 big goals, and I'll outline them real fast for you, and then I'm probably going to go. If you want to watch the rest of the stream, I definitely recommend you do. It helps us with our watch time, and it also helps to get it further spread to people. So when you guys when you comment, especially after the video, when you share this video, when you watch it, all of that helps a ton. But basically, our 3 big goals for this year are going to be 1, development of our territory at Vitae. That's our biggest thing. Specifically, if you've seen all the live streams we've been doing, Sheepland, I know you have, talking about building our dwelling and showing you how we're building our dwelling. That is crucial. Once we get our dwelling built, everything else becomes that much easier because we can store equipment out at Vitae, we can get out of the rain, we can potentially stay a lot longer, potentially several days. We can start to get electricity, water, restroom facilities set up. We will have a headquarters there. And that is most important to set up. So getting that dwelling built is crucial. The next biggest thing is developing our technology, specifically with regards to metalwork. And metals refining. So we have our metals refining setup, which is done pretty well. That's our casting. That deals with our propane-powered furnace that can melt everything from copper, aluminum, etc., and brass. And that we've made some things that you guys may have seen in the past. And now we have also acquired a welder, which can do both stick welding as well as MIG welding. I don't know how to do MIG welding, and I'm just starting to learn stick welding. But with that as an added part of our technological tool belt, so to speak, we have the ability now to do a wider range of things with metals. Not only can we make individually custom cast pieces, which are valuable in and of themselves, we can also make large-scale structures by being able to weld large pieces of metal together, and specifically being able to do more in the realm of steel work, which is difficult to do in casting, if you know much about working with steel. And so, that being the case, now we have amped up our total ability with metals. We are able to do a significant amount, both in the large and small scale, with different metals. And so being able to continue to push for things like that, being able to make custom items for people is going to be a big part of our economic push. So before we're able to truly go on that economic push, we're needing to round up all our technological assets and get really good at them. So we become really valuable in that field and can start making things people want to buy. And start hosting services that people want to use. Then for the third one, that all culminates in the ability to gain community outreach. We need to build up our community outreach, and that includes both citizen recruitment in our local community here in Alabama, as well as our citizen recruitment online, and our connections to the micronational community. We have a hard time getting out information to you guys. We have a hard time actually marketing ourselves and showing everybody, both people on our Patreon, people who just support us here on YouTube, people who follow our other social media accounts. We're not able to give them the regular updates that we would like to. And so that's a big, big problem. What we can do now, though, is to start looking at people like you guys, people in our community, people who want to become citizens, for that opportunity, to be able to collaborate, to be able to get some value out of that, and to continue to spread our message. So if anybody wants to do anything like that, if anybody's good with social media stuff, or is interested in learning, we want to collaborate with you, we want to work with you so that we can spread our message better and so that we can both grow together. That is, again, something our nation values now economically. And we would even be willing to give rewards for quests and things like that, dealing with social media content creation and in general social media collaboration. So those are our big goals for the year. Those are the things that we're trying to achieve. And as we continue to push for those things, we're going to see a significant development in our society. All of them kind of, if you notice, piggyback off of one another. We can't do much at all until we get the dwelling at Vitae built. That's going to really solidify us as controlling and running and operating Vitae in a way that is reminiscent to any other nation. We will have people living there. We will have people working there. We will be able to have a garden developing as we are. We will be able to host animals potentially. There will be lots of opportunity. We'll be able to host our industries there. There will be lots of opportunity to develop. Then we need that technology to be able to host those industries there, to be able to start making money so that all the people who want to live there, all the ways that we need to develop Vitae to continue to support a population and things like that, that we have money to do so, that we have resources coming in and going out that facilitate our economy. And then finally, we need the people to fill those roles. So we will need assistance from both other nations who are out there who want to collaborate with us and work with us, other businesses, other organizations, and also we will need citizens, people who are interested in actually going and doing everything from being an online supporter, somebody who helps us with our social media, or who just helps us to be an administrator in the Discord server, all the way to people who are interested in becoming the first settlers at Vitae and actually developing there and building housing and working there. So that all being the case, I am excited to continue updating you guys with that. But for the time being, please keep us updated with what you're doing in our Discord. We are, again, over the next couple weeks, as we get closer and closer and closer to August, are going to be pushing more and more and more into trying to attain those goals and trying to connect with people who can help us to attain those goals. So if you have any skills, any resources by way of social media, by way of marketing, any of that stuff, please let us know, because the Empire of Aeternia is looking to work with your nation. Real quick, Vincent said, AP, one thing I know if I like to do is collect micronational money for fun and also design, and would like to print novelty money to give to volunteers at the museum for something fun, and something cool. Yeah, no, I think that's great. One of the things I know I'd like to do. Yeah, and I'm sure they would appreciate that. It's always cool to be able to not only have something when you go somewhere, like a museum that's, all the historical stuff, you see everything, but there's not a lot that you can keep. There's not a lot that you can touch and mess with. Maybe at the museum you work at, there's a little bit more hands-on stuff. And it sounds like kind of a fun place to be. But you could go even further and say, I actually have something that you can take home with you that's not just like a brochure. It's something that's fun. It's something that really will be a great memory piece. As just this unique thing that nobody else in the world is going to have, this custom currency. I think that's a great idea, and I would love to see how it works out for the museum, see whether they get onto it. But all that being the case, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys supporting us, and I will talk to everyone soon. Again, please reach out to us if you have any interest in any of the stuff we talked about on stream tonight. Whether that's applying for citizenship, whether that's being more a part of the micronational map, whether that is assisting us with our economy and with our marketing and trying to develop our social media presence. Tiffany is being very silly and making fun of me. I love you. And so I'm going to have to head out, you guys. But I appreciate you all.
Wait, this is a better one.
Okay. She's getting the bunny ears on me. Ooh. Adorable. Vincent said, you have a good night, AP. Stay safe, man. Good night. Also, hi, Tiffany. He wanted me to tell you hi earlier.
Hi, Vincent.
She said hi if you didn't hear her. But I appreciate everybody, and I hope you have a good night. Aeternia forever.
Wait.
I got punched out at the end of the stream. Wait. One big punch for the end of the stream. Give me, Tiff. Do it. Ah.